Good morning, International Soccer participants, and good morning, our special speaker this morning. As Professor Dr. Naparat, for today,
Good morning, everyone. So, shall I start right now? Or
please. Yeah,
I can start now? Okay. All right.
please. I'm going to open the report.
I cannot hear you, Ellen. What you said?
Please. Hello?
Hello. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Should I start right now, or do you have any opening ceremony?
I'm going to open the
Okay.
ceremony report.
Okay.
First of all, let us all express our thanks to the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has bestowed His grace and guidance on our lives, so that we can gather at this online meeting in good health and without lacking anything. We forget to offer our praise and blessings to our great Prophet Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as well as to his noble family, his friends. Respectable the speaker at the third course this morning as Professor Dr. Naparat Kranrattanasuit from Mahidol University, Thailand. The Honorable Lecturers of the Faculty of Law Muhammadiyah University of Surakarta, and the Honorable all the participants of the International Third Course this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let me myself first. I am Celestine Pinandito, Moderator of the International Third Course in this morning's session. I'm very happy to see you here and welcome you all to this special event. For your information, this morning's International Third Course will discuss about human trafficking and the digital age, which will be delivered by our guest speaker, as Professor Dr. Naparat Kranrattanasuit. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce a little about our great speaker this morning. Our speaker today is Professor Dr. Naparat Kranrattanasuit. He was one of the lecturer representatives from Mahidol University, Thailand. Dr. Naparat Kranrattanasuit successfully earned her SJD degree from American University Washington College of Law in May 2013. Her dissertation was titled A Proposal to Strengthen the ASEAN's Role in the Fight Against Trafficking.
Mas, Bukes, Mas. Hasil luar antri
Human
apa?
Jadi berarti kayak itulah.
Apa? Anu meneh gagal lunas.
Profesnya aktif.
Several titles, okay, sorry, I'm going to play. Several titles F, SJD, American University Washington College of Law, 2013, and American University Washington College of Law, 2010, MA Oklahoma City University, 2009, 2006, sorry, AA Northwest College, 2004, Master's from Concord University, Bangkok, Thailand, 2001, and the last one is LLM, Hammasat University, Bangkok, Thailand, 1997. The academic specializations are of interest international human rights law and vulnerable and marginalized groups human rights. Right? I will read our agenda this morning. First agenda, the speaker will deliver material on a perfectly prepared topic for approximately 1.5 hours starting from 9:30 a.m. until the end. Then the second agenda is a question and answer session with the remaining time until 11:10, which will be guided by the moderator and the speaker will answer. And the last agenda is closing. Before our main event begins, I remind the participants again that our agenda this morning has several important regulations which are still the same as the regulations present at the previous meeting. Now, let me welcome our guest speaker this morning as Professor ke Naparat Kranrattanasuit to present material relevant to human trafficking and the digital age. As Professor Dr. Naparat Kranrattanasuit, your time is in yours.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Good morning, everyone. I know it's kind of hard for everyone to have this kind of meeting, online meeting on Saturday morning. But then let's say today we just sharing our point of view on human trafficking situation in the digital age, right? Particularly you guys, you're young, you're new generation, you probably have to learn and know about the human trafficking. So let me start with a Mentimeter that I prepare in order to ensure that you won't really just okay. I don't know what. Let's see. Can you see the screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me present. Okay, you guys already have your cell phone, right? So I'm gonna ask you to really respond to the first question, right? You can scan on the left, down on the left, ask you 3 words for the terms of human trafficking. When people ask you, or you think about, when some people ask you, what's the definitions of human trafficking? What's the 3 words that you think of? Because you're going to be a future lawyer or judge or prosecutor, right? You need to understand the technical terms, particularly this is something that your generation, sometimes you use the terms trafficking in person, right? Okay. It's nothing wrong to try. It's okay to just get some words that you think, oh, when somebody asks me, or your siblings or your friends ask you, what does it mean, human trafficking? Crimes, yes, that's nice. What else? Human kidnapping, yes. What else? Yes. Ellen, I cannot really hear you well. I don't know why. Okay, somebody said crime of slavery. Yes, you're good. What else? Sin. Okay, when you discuss about religious issues, right? Human rights violations, good. Illegal, yes. Crime, dangerous, cruel, inhuman, that's good. Trap, trick, used, yes. What else? Okay. Abuse, correct. Illegal, dangerous, yes. What else? I do believe, how many of you here is over 60, right? Show me what you got. It's okay, really, to share. Okay. Horrible, yes, it's horrible. Right? If somebody use you as a subject for their benefit, right? If some barcode on your body and say this for sale, what do you think? Illegal right violation. Look down on women, yes, it can be. right? When you experience patriarchy, right? Okay, 14 of you respond to this. Okay. What else? Law breaking, yes. You break the law because you treat people as inhuman, right? Okay. All right. Anybody else? Lawless. Have to think about what does it mean, lawless? That means no law at all to prevent human trafficking? Actually, under international law, even regional law, and I do believe in your country as well, Indonesia is a part of, ASEAN members, right? ASEAN Association. We have anti-human trafficking law as well, right? Let me see what else. Challenging, yes, it's hard to really protect, or provide legal assistance as you're going to be a future lawyer. You have to think how you're going to really protect them, protect the victims, right? In case if they're illegal or they're smuggling to your country, how are you going to treat them? You're going to treat them as a victim, human trafficking victims. You're going to treat them as, illegal, smuggling persons, break the law. So they will be penalized or they should be protected, right? Okay. Pretty much, you're talking about sexual service. Yes. Have sex workers, right? Very beyond reason. You need to clarify very beyond reason. What does it mean? National problem, yes. You will see the you will hear the terms vernacularizations. It's the gaps between international, right, and national countries, and even among countries, the least or developing country or developed countries. We do have different levels of human trafficking laws protection, right, or even prevention, right? International problem, yes, right. That's why when you say human trafficking is international, not really international, but transnational crimes. It can be internal or it can be international. Torture, yes, torture can really happen during human trafficking when, victims do not want to do something, to be forced, to do the job, right? They have no freedom. Law enforcement, yes, it's about law enforcement, how they really implement the law, right? Okay. Issues, yes, is a part of issue. What else? Investigations, yes, against humanity, yes, problematic issues, scary, yes, victims, and everyone can be human trafficking victims, even myself. Only one thing that can really make us being trafficked, the terms trust. And you'll be surprised, these crimes actually, majority of, perpetrators are your own family, your friends, right? People you trust the most, right?
Mungkin yang kalau lagi sepi, ibu gitu ya, bisa gocap gitu kan. Dan itu salah satu hal yang
Marketplace.
jadi inspirasi beliau Akhirnya beliau bikinlah si Golden ini. Kalau kita bedah pakai piramid.
Okay. Okay, marketplace, yes. And marketplace, today we can discuss because this is about digital age, right? It can be on site or online. And we will discuss how cyber human trafficking can happen. Extraordinary crimes, yes. Inhuman, yes. Harmful, yes. All right, I'm gonna go to next. Thank you very much for your sharing. Okay. Next one. Where do perpetrator recruit people? You can scan the barcode below here on the left corner. Where? This is important. You can be victims or not. It's up to them as well, right? Because at some point, in this era, cafe, yes, right? They can come and say hello to you, be nice and friendly. And then later on, they may ask you some contact information. They may take a photo of yours, right? And after that, they can do everything. Can use your personal information. They can use your photo, right? For different crimes, including human trafficking. Where else you can find? Social media, yes. Mall, shopping mall, yes. Website, yeah, correct. Right? So nowadays, human trafficking doesn't really happen just only on site, but online. And particularly in your generation, right? People tend to be introvert, right? Tend to feel safe when they are online. They can fake their own, personal information to you and even yourself, right? If you don't want to be, find out who you are, right? At work, yes. Anywhere, correct. Campus, yes. You'll be surprised. Particularly, sex trafficking really happened on campus. Perpetrator look for young women, not only women, all genders, right? Whenever they look at you as a subject, as item for commercialized, benefit, for commercial benefit, they will do everything. Okay, school, right, anywhere. Online dating media platform, yes, correct. Particularly you see, sex scam, right? Romantic scam, they will be like, oh, I follow your Facebook for a long time, shall we meet, and then end up being in a brothel, right? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Crowded place. Yes, can be. Prisons. Prisons. We have to discuss more on this. Prison, right? If you have any case, please do share. Because so far, I don't have the case on prison, but pretty much like online. But prisons is already under, the control of, government authority. We have to think how they end up being, the prisoner end up being trafficked. For example, like, forced labor. It can be, right? Like in US, right? They use prisoner to work and it may just benefit, right? Prison, but not prisoner, right? Because they have no freedom. They cannot go anywhere anyway, and they are required to do the job, right? It can be. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to next. Which group can be subjected to human trafficking in the digital age? I'm not going to stay for this question for long because I think I already answered, right? Anybody want to respond before we're going to go to next? child, yes, particularly children, right? Women, they are vulnerable groups of people. Anyone, yes, correct, right? Anyone. What about elderly NB or LGBTQ plus, right? Or person with disabilities, jobless population, yes, right? Old people, yes, everyone, right? Homeless, yes, right? Because they have no job opportunity, right? They're looking for a job, they may want to get something. Okay, I'm gonna go next. Why don't victims escape or ask for help from police, you think? Why? Right? People will say, hey, since you already go outside with the perpetrator, why don't you ask for help from police? You think what the reason behind this? Shame? Yeah, it can be, yes. What else? Afraid. Afraid what? Threatened, right? Threatened by who? Control by perpetrator? Yes, can be. What else? Reputation? Yes, can be. Fame? Romantic? Romantic. Maybe you can really clarify this one. Not helpful. Yeah? Yeah, why not helpful? Revenge. You think the police will revenge them? The police will not help them? Romantic attachments. Why don't victims escape or ask for help from police? So you think that they have romantic attachment with the perpetrator? It can be, yes. Don't believe in police, yes. Brainwash, yes, it can happen. Trauma bond, yes. Confused, yes. There is a threat, yes, can be. Poverty, yeah. I would say human trafficking tend to, particularly in the past, when people lack of, access to education or even they jobless, right? No job opportunity in the country, right? So they try everything, right? To survive, and get over poverty, because they don't want to be poor anymore. So they will do whatever, right? Incriminated. Okay. They don't have opportunity. Police can be complicit. Yes, correct. Right. Many cases, right? Police involved in human trafficking cycle, right? Stress, yes, can be. Okay. All right. So I would say, because police tend to use national security, right? You as a future lawyer, right? When you meet illegal smuggling persons or, human trafficking, first thing you ask what? What's the police will ask for? Police will ask for ID card, right? Or maybe work permit if they don't have any documents, right? They will really deport them. So when you say afraid, yes, they're afraid of so many things that you share, but mainly is they're afraid of being deported, to their original country. They don't want to, right? And you will see that many of them tend to re-victimize again because they will come back again for job opportunity destination, right? Like in Thailand, I would say is a destination of many, migrant workers who are looking for a job because a lot of job opportunities here in Thailand, right? But then you end up being trafficked, right? Have a trust issue, yes. Trust issue with the police, yes. As I mentioned, yes. You probably heard so many cases that some police really involved in human trafficking business, right? Okay, that's good. Now I'm gonna stop right here. So I can see that many of you already, right, knows about human trafficking, and thank you very much for your response. So now I'm gonna share my PowerPoint, and we can continue discussing. All right. Okay. What do you see here? Right? You see, migrants, right, in factories, the fishing business, on the right corner upper you see beggar, right? On the left you see sex workers, right? And on the right below you see people who sell their own organ, right? Maybe by force, right? This is something that when people have not been treated as human, right? What's the form of human trafficking? Different forms of human trafficking, right? Start with forced labor, right? How do you know that you've been forced? You don't have freedom. You don't really involve in, or participate in any decision. If you want to quit, you cannot quit, right? Sometimes you get paid, sometimes you don't get paid at all, right? But don't mix up with, unfair, contract. It's different, right? Unfair contract doesn't mean that you're being trafficked. But unfair contract, that means your employer doesn't pay you, properly, based on the law. But forced labor is the group that they have no choice because they've been forced to work, right? They cannot run away, right? So they've been treated like, inhuman. It's like a subject. Okay, second one is sex trafficking. As you already see the photo, right? They've been trafficked, perpetrator will say, hey, you get good pay. You don't have to do anything much, right? So you can go to work in a salon, but end up behind the salon, right? In the back of salon, you have to sell your body, being forced, right? By the pimps, right? Debt bondage. What does it mean, debt bondage? Okay, when somebody, in your village or your friends or your family say, or the perpetrator will say, hey, we're going to pay, for your transportation. We're going to pay for your food, right? We're going to pay for everything, to get you here to work. So when you already travel to the destination, and I want to tell you, human trafficking, it can be internal and international, right? Or transnational crime. That means that it can happen in your own country, in the original country, or it can be in another country as a destination, right? So when they travel to the place where they think they will get a job, perpetrator will say, hey, I already, bring you here. So now, whenever you get a job and you get paid, you have to give me money every month because you owe me money for transportation, for food, for everything, right? For shelter that I get you They give it to you before you get to the destination. So you became slave. You work for these people. You have to pay them. Some case you have to pay them every day if the job paid based on wage, not salary. Every day. For example, you get 500, right? Dollars, or not dollars, I would say $3 a day. You may end up paying all to them. $5, $10, whatever you receive from employer, you have to give to them all because you're a debt bondage victim. Involuntary domestic servitude means the terms already say involuntary domestic servitude. So when you being hired to work, for a family, do chore for them, right? You have no, resting time at all. Saturday, Sunday, or holidays, you have to work, right? If you don't work, you may don't get any food. You have no freedom to get out from home. That's scary, right? They may abuse you physically or psychologically, right? They may rape you, right? You cannot really tell anybody because you have been locked up in a room, right? Child soldier. Nowadays, we have child soldiers. You see a lot of wars, all over this world now, so many cases, right? Even, internal conflict in our own country, right? They tend to train children to be a soldier. Children, they don't know what is right or wrong, right? They thought they're playing, but they can kill people because they thought this is something that the perpetrator already told them that is proper to do, proper to kill, right? Justify that killing people is right. You're helping country, right? And the last one, removal of organs, right? Many cases that, poor people tend to, sell or do not have, a chance to provide any consent, right? So in this case, if you go to, some countries, one case that I found, when you go to, the airport and somebody say hi to you, right? And then say, hey, let's have a drink. We come from the same country, come from the same village. Oh, it's very nice to meet you. You drink a bottle of water of that person and you woke up in the hospital. Your livers disappeared, some organ disappear, right? Because this some kind of business too, right? Rich people or some people looking for organs for donation, some kind of business that they want to get organs, and you may end up being victims. So be careful about that. So these are major types of human trafficking. Okay. So next, many of people, tend to confuse between human trafficking and smuggling. So right here, you see the tables, how you distinguish based on elements. Okay. First, action. Second, means. And the last one, purposes. When you say actions under human trafficking, that means, right, based on United Nations, right? They say traffickers transport and transfer people from one place to another internally or across borders. You see, it can be internal and external, can be trans, national. Okay. But then for smuggling, the action will be the smugglers. You see, the actor is different now. For human trafficking, the actor will be traffickers or perpetrator, right? But smuggling, the actor will be smugglers, right? Smuggler do what? Act what? Facilitate the transportation, attempted transportation, or a regular crossing of a person or persons, a group of people, sorry, across international border.
Guys.
Anybody want to say something? Okay, now you're clear with the action, right? So now means, sorry, means human trafficking, say, under the Palermo Protocol. Article 3 said, deception means deceptions, force, fraud, abuse of powers, or coercion in the execution of one or more activities. When you say abuse of powers or coercion, I want you to imagine when parents or your family members or whoever have role power over you. Say, hey, you follow this guy, okay, so that you get a job. And when you get paid, you will pay me back, right? I'm your parents. We're your parents. We want you to do the job, right? So perpetrator or trafficker asks parents or asks somebody who have power over the victim, right? Maybe use as the persons who really done many things for you, you tend to do it because you want to pay them back, right? The gratitude, right? That's the the keywords that perpetrator or traffickers tend to use. No? So, but then this means will not really apply to any children below 17. What does it mean? It means that because children below 18 years old still immature, right? They don't know what's really right or wrong. They do it just because adult told them to do it, right? Because parents told them that it's good to do it, right? So even though children, voluntary to do it, is still called human trafficking. Okay, so in case of smuggling no means, okay, of Article 3 of Palermo Protocol, because smuggling victims voluntary, right? They aims to hire smuggler to help them, to facilitate them on this transportation, right? So it's no force or no deceive or abuse. Okay, and the last element, purpose. When you're talking about human trafficking, the purpose is to exploit. But then for smuggling, no involve of exploitation, because the key job of smuggler is to just facilitate. That's it. No? Okay. You got it, no? So again, right here, when you discuss about law, international law, I want you to look at Palermo Protocol. All right, because Palermo Protocol is a supplement of international organized crimes, transnational crimes, no convention. So I'm gonna go next. So in your generation, you need to know, no, what's the linkage between human trafficking and SDGs? Because right now it's in 2024 and 2030, right, will be the deadline of all 17 SDGs. So what the linkage? Right here, I share with you. It connects to target 5.2. What the target 5.2 is about? It's about end all violence against and exploitation of women and girls. Some of you already said, right? Victim can be women, can be children, right? So these guests can be women and girls. So we have to ensure that all the violence against all women and girls in public and private spheres, including trafficking and sexual or other types of exploitation, supposed to be end. Right? Next one, target 8.7. In modern slavery, trafficking, and child labor. You see? So that means the government is supposed to use, effective measures to eradicate forced labor, modern slavery, human trafficking, and secure the prohibition and eliminations of the worst forms of child labor, including recruitment and use of child soldier. Actually, the deadline will be even earlier, next year. End child labor in all its forms, right? By 2025. Right now, we in 2024. You see, in your generation, we have only 1 year, not even 1 year now, only half year to complete this target, which I would say is impossible if, implementation of law doesn't really promote it or applied, right? And next one, target 16.2, is about protect children from abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and violence. This is the job that the government, not only government, I would say, everyone, all sectors, all human beings, in this world, supposed to ensure. Even yourself, myself, right? We as social members, right? Society members. If we see something not right or wrong, we're supposed to really support these people, support the victims, right? Provide assistance. Particularly you, a future lawyer, can provide legal assistance, right, for them in order to ensure that it will end, all forms of violence, including human trafficking. Okay, now I want to share, some of my work that I have done here. As you see this figure 1, I used the concept technology facilitated labor exploitation and limited information and communication gaps. Let me give you the idea of the background of this project first. Because in Thailand, people tend to focus on, trafficking, human trafficking in migrant workers group, foreign migrant workers, right? But then actually it happened internally too. And the tools is mobile phone based technologies. And when I say mobile phone based technologies, they include service of phone calls, smartphone apps, like you use Line application, WhatsApp, Instagrams, or Signal, and so on, or even social media networks, Facebook, you use, right, TikTok, Google, etc., or even emails, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, everything. So these parts on the left side called mobile phone-based technologies. It's an instrument for, both perpetrator and victim, potential victims, right? And then the technologies tend to facilitate labor exploitation, right? When the preventive approach of technology, to prevent technology facilitate labor exploitation that do not really function well, particularly by the government agencies, as you see, compare with NGOs, right? Non-government agencies, for example. I found that, limited information and communication gaps. The government's website, do not really provide, proper or sufficient information to prevent human trafficking. For example, if you or me searching for a job, on Ministry of Labor's website, right? And if I cannot read your language, for example, what's going to happen, right? So it's about inaccessible information as well because of linguistic barriers, right? And the government do not really provide, or remind us about where we should apply, or which organization or factories or business that as a scam, right? Or perpetrators, right? So what's really happened on the right side? Internal trafficking. Individuals, including foreigners who have been trafficked in a country, can then be re-trafficked within its border as well. And also citizens of a country can be trafficked within their own country of origin. Like myself, I'm in Thailand, I'm Thai, I can be trafficked as well. And if somebody from other countries, come here to Thailand to work, can be trafficked too. In this case, I just propose the government to really redesign, their technologies, right? In order to make a friendly mobile phone, based technologies that everyone can access, everyone understands, right? The information that they want to share on, human trafficking or labor exploitation, right? That's the first one. And then next one I call C4D, towards cyber child trafficking interventions. And I use the concept C4D is communications for development. After I did research, the previous one, I found the gaps, right? Communication gaps. So I propose communication for developments towards cyber child trafficking intervention. What really happened? I found that new young generation tend to, apply for a job in another country, for another country, job opportunity. So I call them potential labor victims. They search for a job, so I call them cyber job seeker, right? And you can see that you can search, it has cyberspace, right? Cyberspace can include safe and unsafe zones, cyber zone, right? If you applied in the safe cyber zone, you do fine, right? You have interpersonal or group media communications through government agencies, local NGOs, or labor groups. For example, you're from Indonesia. You may search for a group, Indonesian labor groups in Thailand, how they're working, right? You ask for their opinion, get different views on that, right? And then you can recheck about the business or the factories that you're going to work, or the business that you want to work for. Any, blacklist, in this name is in any blacklist of the government, right? You can check. But if, unfortunately, you search in unsafe cyber zone, you meet perpetrator. How will you know? Unsafe cyber zone, right? What I really want to suggest you, do not search for a job apart from government agencies or local NGOs or even labor groups. Particularly, I would suggest you to search for a job on government agency website. Because so many unsafe cyber zones that they fake, right? They fake website, they fake any, live applications or social medias, right? So you have to check different channels. Even government agency, they fake a website as well. So I won't really suggest you to ask only one group of people, but ask for different groups of people, right? So what I propose, I would say, apart from checking from government agency, where, may have some communication gaps, you can check from local NGOs who have long profile in helping migrant workers, right? You can check their reputation, right? Labor groups, you can check if they really exist in the destination country. If Indonesian labor groups really exist, trustable, right? Nowadays, people tend to share their voice, tend to share their complaints or their stories, right? So you can check before you can apply for a job, or even you travel to the destination. So this is the things that you can tell, children, because young generation, not even under poverty, they love adventure, right? Even yourself, you want to travel now after you graduate from, your university. Now you think, oh, I want to apply for a job in other countries. I want to do intern in other countries, right? I want to study in other university. So you have to be careful too, because nowadays a lot of scammer, a lot of perpetrator recruit, young generation, right? Through university website. I would say fake university website, right? Give you information about scholarships, research grants, right? Invitations to the conference. Please recheck if they really exist. How would you check? You check with your, university, right? HR or even research divisions, they should have information. Okay, this is a thing that I share with my students as well. Before you're gonna, enjoy or you're very excited about the invitation letter to the conference, we check first, right? Otherwise, you end up being trafficked. Okay. All right. So these are my reference. If you want, you can really click DOI link and read for free. Okay. Otherwise, you have to pay for these articles. Okay. I already give to your coordinator, Kun Ellen, right? Miss Ellen, so you can get for it. Pretty much that I have, and I will be really happy to really respond to your question.
Okay, thank you so much to Professor Dr. Kranrattanasuit, who presented his presentation very well and informatively. Hopefully, what has been conveyed will provide long-term benefits to all of us. Now, it's time to the question and answer session. For the audience who are curious or want to discuss further regarding this discussion, let's make the best use of this opportunity. As a reminder, the question and answer session is divided in two sessions. In the first session, we limit it to 3 questions. When the time is up, there will be only one question and answer session. For questions, you can submit them via Zoom live chat or can express them directly by activating the right hand feature, which will then be invited by the moderator to open the microphone. For all the participants, the screen and time are yours.
Yes, please. I think I saw some name. Okay. You can call me Lek. Okay. I think, I'm sorry. I should really tell you guys. Naparat Kranrattanasuit is really full name. I'm sorry, Ellen. You can call me Lek. Huh? You can call me Lek if you want to, or just call me Lek. Lek means youngest. Okay. In Thai language. Okay. Okay. All right. The question, please. What's the question? First, what impact does human trafficking have when prostitution is legalized in certain nations? Yes, if you read articles, particularly in the countries that legalize, right, prostitution, like in Netherlands, you see, particularly they cannot really access to the right to health care, right? So, and many of them still being forced. They're still trafficked, even though it's already legalized, right? There are pimps, in front of the door to check if they keep working. And I read the case that, when prostitutes, want to stop providing service, they've been, abused, violence, physically violence. They've been slapped, and being killed or whatever. So I would say impact, yes, it will really impact if the government do not have, proper laws, particularly if the non-implementation of law really happened, they will not be protected anyway, right? But of course, prostitutions, in some, I would say some countries say, they claim that they can treat prostitute well, they can access, but still, if you read TIPS report, right, trafficking in person reports annually, you will see that a lot of them, still report, human trafficking still happen to this prostitute, right? Because they have no freedom. Again, human trafficking is about you have no freedom. You have no choice. You cannot stop. because you already a mercenaries, right? You are items, right? So that's the first answer I can answer you. No, it will affect. I would say it still affect, and I will really encourage you to read. Now I will put in here trafficking in person report every year. I would say about the end of June or July. I would say early June or July, right at this time, the mid-year. Normally they will have report. United Nations, right? They are like a hubs of, this report. They will say, each country, how each government really perform to prevent, human trafficking, to protect human trafficking victims and prosecute, perpetrator. Okay. And I do believe that you have the second question. Got it. The second question you asked, are Asian nations' efforts to stop human trafficking any different from those of other nations? Why? I would say, I will give example. For example, in Thailand, we say we don't have prostitute. Come on. I have to roll my eyes and say, come on. We do a lot. Every countries in this world, even United States, right? They have, in some states of United States, they allow prostitution, right? But then the laws, when you say efforts to stop, if you read the report, you will say everyone saying we try, right? But still, some police, some of you already say, they involve in the business, right? So the efforts, I would say, we need the collaboration of all sectors, government, non-government, private sectors, to ensure that we will not really force anybody to work, right? In labors or even in sexual exploitation business, right? So we have two efforts. In ASEAN countries, I would say we even have convention. If you check, right, ASEAN, we have law as well on anti-human trafficking in your country as well, right? But the thing is, the efforts, you have to check that if the governments, the corruption really interfere, any forms of interventions, right? Proper legal interventions, right? And implementation, particularly enforcement, really, practice or not, right? We try to, say this item, for example, nowadays, the private sector try to say, hey, if you buy this watch, you'll be assured that this will not be, produced by forced migrants workers. You see, this is another form, right, of efforts, right? Business and human rights, right? When you study, you're a lawyer, right? A future lawyer, you have to know business and human rights. Everything. You have to link business and human rights because what? You'll be surprised business and the human trafficking can create billions, I would say. See, because when perpetrators want to be rich, they don't care, right? They don't see you as a human anymore. So business sector is supposed to involve and say, hey, suppliers, right? Subcontractors, if you use forced migrants, I will not really hire you, right? So I would say this is another form of efforts. No? And then number 3, I see you have number 3, right? Number 3, May I have the contact email? Yes, I can give you. You guys, you can email me if you interested in this. Okay. And right now I'm doing research on forced migration as well, particularly on the implementation. And I try to compare between Indonesia and Thailand. I will work with Professor Nuka on that. Okay. And if I have any publications and if you're interested, I can share with you too for free. You don't have to pay. I don't want you to pay for the articles that I write. You can read for free and can apply with your research. Okay. As you know, once they have been identified as victim of human trafficking and have broken free from the situation of exploitation, those affected need to face new challenges. Yes, correct. Could you give us some example about this? Okay, as I mentioned to you, right? You already study security, right? You have Security Act, right? National security, this is the concept, right? Or state security, right? So, and when you use Immigration Act, right? You have to think that they may not be trafficked from their original country. They may start being, smuggling persons and then trafficked in your country. So the first thing what the immigration officer will do, you, even though you're victims, but you smuggling, right? You use natural, channels to enter illegally to my country. So you're not really a victim, but you're illegal migrants, right? So what kind of laws are you going to use, right? You're going to use Immigration Act instead of Anti-Human Trafficking Act, right? So if you use that what I mean is that if you use the concept national security or state security, but then if you think, oh, he or she already are victims, the first thing that you're supposed to do as a lawyer, professional lawyer or human rights lawyer, you're supposed to provide assistance first. What does it mean, assistance? Not only legal assistance. You can take them to the hospital if they've been abused, right? Physically or psychologically, to check, up their health care first. Their health, if their health's okay or not. Particularly trauma, right? Some of you already shared, in the previous questions that I asked you guys, right? You check first if this human being okay, is okay, she's okay, this kid's okay, even though no paperwork, no documentation. Okay. So I will say, first, you're supposed to provide assistance, all forms of assistance for victims. Look at them as victims first. Don't look at them as illegal migrants, right? And then later on, you provide legal assistance. Ensure that you provide justice. Imagine, I don't want you to imagine only you are as a future lawyer. I want you to imagine yourself as a human trafficking victims. And you will understand. You put yourself in their shoes. You've been sold in a brothel. You've been sold, to work as a domestic workers, non-stop, 7 days, 24 hours. Even though you enter illegally, what kind of help you want, right? So, and I would say challenges they have faced, they cannot really access to any forms of assistance. You see, they have been raped. They don't get any, healthcare services because you are illegal. See, when people, now particularly government authorities, have this attitude against them, no assistance will exist or implement at all. All right. And then you ask, and how, you say, what is the residence permit issue for victims of human trafficking? I would say depends on the country. In United States, when I voluntarily work in the law clinic at the university, we help them to get, green card, work permit first, and then green card for themselves, and then for the family members. Okay, so the residence permit or work permit issue for the victims, it happened in United States. They will get like V, that means victims. V visa, okay, for the victims. But for Thailand, no. You may want to share about in your country. I think in Asian countries tend not to provide residence permit, particularly it can be temporarily, right? Temporarily, and then lock them up, right? Treat them like a prison. So many cases in Thailand, victims tend to return home in their original country because their family members waiting for them. They cannot afford to be there without any job, without any paid job, right? They're there as a prison, and they have no freedom to go anywhere. They cannot work. Okay, they cannot really earn any money. So I would say it depends on the countries. All right. And nowadays we try to say, hey, we need to expedite the legal proceedings, right? Should not be prolonged investigation or lawsuit. One time I remember when I interned at the UN, I went to the Thai court as an observer, and I met Myanmar human trafficking victims. She told me that actually I already returned home and I came back again. I said, why? Who paid you to come back? Who paid for the transportation? She said, no one. I paid for myself. I went back home even though I still have trauma, and I still have nightmare every night, but I have to come back for one thing, justice. You see? So that's why as a lawyer, we try, law policy maker, we try to encourage the government to say, hey, expedite, particularly this kind of case. If you don't want to give any residence or work permit for them, you need to really, provide justice, and should not take longer than 1 or 2 years, right? So your future law policy maker, you may have to think about if you want to modify or codify the law, to ensure that these victims will get justice as soon as possible. Okay, and next one, and how are these permit issue extended and cancelled? As I mentioned to you, it's up to the country, no? But then under international law, like Palermo Protocol, try to say, they're supposed to, the destination countries where the victims end up being subject to human trafficking, supposed to allow them to work, but then not all countries really, promote this. All right. So now you have research topic that you can do it, right? So this can be a good one, to allow them to work instead of just let them being there as a prisoner. Okay. All right. My question is, if we have a friend or family members we suspect is being trafficked, how can we talk to them about it? Well, as I mentioned to you, all the elements, you can ask the questions and let them answer you. You don't have to say, hey, you are trafficked. No. You ask based on elements, the action, right? Anybody provide you transportation, who bring you to the destination, provide you shelter, and then somebody really conceive you or lure you or promise you, particularly promise you to get a good job and pay, right? And then ask them about what kind of, what's the natures or characteristic of, work or job description. Ask them, do they have freedom to go anywhere, right? Can they get out from the workplace, right? Can they get paid, right? Do they get paid? Do they get, break or rest properly according to the law, right? So let them check by their own, right? And then later on, you can educate them that, hey, if this already, you check, everything, all the question I ask you, and you say yes, it means something wrong with you. You have not been treated as human anymore. You've been treated as items or merchandise, right? And this is not fair for you as a human being. Okay, so why don't you try to get a new job that you can get fair treatment and payment? Okay, so I'm not really sure that I answer you, Rosalia, Anissa, and Sat, Abbas, okay, and Nikia too. Okay. Yes, I already answered the difference between human trafficking and smuggling, right? I can say it again briefly. Human trafficking, it includes 3 elements: action, means, and purpose, right? Trafficker look at you. Trafficker is actors, right? But then smuggling, the actor is smuggler. They have different purposes. Trafficking want to use you for sale, mistreat you, right? Want to sell you for benefit. But then smuggler just want to facilitate you, provide you transportation, to ensure to give you transportation to the destination. That's it. They don't have any purpose of exploitation. But for human trafficker, they do. They want to use you. They don't want to give you human rights and freedoms. Okay, that pretty much differences. Okay, and human trafficking can happen internally and internationally, but smuggling only international. It means that should have crossed the border from one country to another country. That we'll call smuggling. Clear? Okay, you don't have to memorize. You just try to understand from Indonesia to Thailand. That's smuggling. Person who just want to, give you a ride to another country. But traffickers just ensure that you travel from one place to another place internally in Indonesia or to another countries to sell you, to gain benefit from your body, from your life, without providing any human rights and freedom. Okay. And Trung Trung. Okay, Trung said, okay, currently, problem of human trafficking via social networks is very serious, and one of them is in the southwestern region of Vietnam. Yes, borderly Cambodia in particular, and perhaps the ASEAN region in general. Yes, you're right. So should we have common solution for the whole bloc? And should there be a general treaty to address all those issues? As I mentioned to you, ASEAN, no? 10 countries already are members of ASEAN, right? And ASEAN's already uh, designed the anti-human trafficking convention, particularly women and children. You can read, I just give you this a brief name of the convention. You can look for more information, ASEAN.org, and you search for human trafficking. You get the full name. Because when I studied, I did research on anti-human trafficking in ASEAN, right? And at that time, they don't have convention in 2009. When I completed in 2013, they tried to design, and now they already have this convention, right? But under international law, UN, UN Palermo Protocol. Okay, it's a supplement. No, this is not really convention, but it's a supplement. Okay. All right. So you already know the international, anti-human trafficking convention law, and then regional ASEAN regional has convention as well. And now you look at national anti-human trafficking law in your country. And also, you cannot just only look at only one law. You have to look at immigration law. You have to look at Alien Act, right? You have to look at labor law, right? You have to look at healthcare, right? Public Health Act, everything, right? That one person, one human being is supposed to be provided by the government. Okay. Anybody else ask question? And they're the general, yes. Okay. I think I already answered everyone. No? Trump, right? I think this is what. That's all. Anybody else? Yeah. If you want to discuss, you still have time. Right now it's almost 11. Anything else? Okay. And apart from that, if you're interested in study further in human rights and peace studies, you can search. I can give you chat. Okay, you can go to worldwideweb.hrp. See. Hold on, I forgot. Yeah, right now we just try to improve our website. If you want to search for MA, MA program, in human rights. We have international program, MA program, two of them. One is MA program in human rights, and another one is MA program in human rights and democratization. Okay. These two programs provide scholarships, but mainly for Myanmar students, but then some Indonesian students receive, scholarship from our program as well. If you're interested, right, in these issues. Okay. All right.
Okay, we can select, sorry, we can turn now.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
it's already 11 o'clock.
11.10.
Okay.
Okay.
So, anybody else have question? Anybody really interested in doing research on this for your graduation? Do you have to do a thematic thesis? Right? I think this can be another good topic because right now, particularly ASEAN, try to discuss about forced migration. Forced migration doesn't mean is only human-made. No. Let's tell you too, not only human-made, but also you can be natural, made as well. No? When you say human-made, that means can be from war, from war or from people who just want to take benefit from you, right? But then natural-made, that means that when your country experience like natural crisis, floodings, right? Floods or drought, right? And you want to move to another country, so you can be forced. So forced migration can happen because you feel that air pollution is really overwhelmed in my country, so I want to go to another country, right? So it can be forced. You can end up being forced migrant as well, right? But for human trafficking, I would say is pretty much human-made. Okay. So it's close to lunchtime. I'm sure that everyone wants to have lunch now. Okay. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much for just for
Yes.
the quiz. I'm
Okay.
sure thank you so much because yes, I'm sure hope can helpful your question before. So okay, as our time is running out, the question and answer session is over. As the moderator, I would like to express my gratitude for the enthusiasm and attention of our participants, as well as thank you so much to our extraordinary speaker this morning, as Professor Dr. Naparat Kranrattanasuit or Mrs. Fleck, who explained about human trafficking to the digital age in a very interesting and easy to understand manner. I'm Pinandito as the moderator for this morning session. Also apologize profusely if while accompanying the participants, there were still many errors in words. I ask the moderator have permission to say goodbye and see you again in the next session, which will start at 1 p.m. until 2:40 p.m. Once again, thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.